there, my name is Stephanie Deona, and if you're looking for a book review on the Other Side by Carrie Fletcher, you are definitely in the right place. Ever since Carrie started talking about this book, I've been really excited to read it. I've been following Carrie Fletcher on YouTube for years. I think maybe 2012, 2013 is when I found her and when I started watching her videos, and I've always admired her as a human being because she is so kind-hearted, she's so talented, she's so driven, she hasn't had anything handed to her, she works for everything. So I have nothing but respect for Carrie Fletcher. Finding out that she was writing a fiction novel was like, I was so excited. This is a birthday present to myself that I ordered as soon as I could. I meant to pre-order, but never got around to it. Also, I was very poor because I went back to school this year, so yeah, no money to invest in things like pre-orders. So my book look is based off of a number of aspects of this book. First of all, the cover colors were very appealing to me as far as the like really kind of deep pink and the nice accents of purple. So I really wanted to do pink and purple, but I also really love the combination of purple and orange in general. I've done a number of looks on my regular Instagram or my beauty Instagram of just mixing the colors purple and orange because I've always loved them together. So with the aspect of the color orange in this book, I thought I'd pop on some orange. I thought it was only too appropriate to make my lips orange. If you've read the book, you know why. If you have not read the book, I'm going to give you a really quick synopsis and a spoiler-free review, and then in a separate video, I will go ahead and do a spoilery discussion of the book. What I've recently decided I'm going to do with my book reviews, because my discussion aspects of these books tend to go on a lot longer than I want the video to go for. Really quick synopsis: we follow a woman by the name of Evie Snow. In her 80s, she passes away and she goes to heaven, where it turns out she's actually a little too heavy to enter to her own personal heaven. She's weighed down by 3 specific secrets that she kept her entire life from specific people, and she needs to figure out a way to help these people figure out her secrets so that way she can be light enough to go through her personal door to her personal heaven. We follow her on her journey as she tries to contact the people she knew when she was alive, and her ultimate mission is basically to get into her own personal heaven. Then of course there is a romance, or I guess you could call it a number of romances tossed into this book, but one in particular between 2 specific love interests. And of course, a big focus of the book is on their relationship and how it blooms, how it develops, and what it turns into eventually down the road. My general thoughts: I really enjoyed this book. I am pleasantly impressed with Carrie Fletcher. I mean, I didn't have low expectations for Carrie's writing, but everybody's first book tends to be a little rocky as far as, you know, figuring out what your style is and how you want to present it and all of that. Definitely there were some grammatical and punctuation liberties taken with this book. At the beginning of the book, I was kind of like, oh, I really wish these choices had not been made for the style of the book, but it works for the book. It does. I still would have preferred more of a traditional layout of the book as far as, specifically I'm talking about punctuation, and if you read the book and if you read a lot, you will probably already know what I'm talking about. But that did not deter from the quality of the story, and especially the quality of characters, which I loved. I loved so many of the characters in this book. I mean, clearly there are some characters you're not meant to love, and for those ones, of course, I did not. But as far as everyone else, I absolutely adored them and loved them as a family, and overall, I left this book with a very happy feeling in my heart. I feel like this book has a lot of love to give. I mean, we're talking about the love between Evie Snow and the people that she interacts with in her life, but I feel in general this book kind of emitted a sense of love. I said in my Goodreads review that it felt like a very comforting long hug to read this book, because there were parts that totally broke my heart, that like ripped it out of my chest and just like crushed it. I think the coolest aspect of this book is often when we follow a romance, or when we follow really any story, it's about a main character who against all odds achieves something. Against all odds finds love or gets to marry the love of her life, whatever it might be, but it's always against all odds. And with this book, it was not against all odds, it was in the odds. It was more like in spite of the odds. It was about being thankful for the wonderful things that life did let you have, for the time you did have them, instead of being bitter that you lost them at all. And not letting negative things or horrible people or tragedies in your life make you a terrible person, make you into the tragedy and the bitterness and the awful that you have suffered from life. Instead, letting it transform you into everything that you wished you had gotten from others, from the world, or giving others the opportunity you never had. And just about maintaining compassion and understanding and not letting negative things turn you into a terribly negative person. Of course, when bad things happen, you're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be really upset. You're allowed to be depressed. You're allowed to have pity parties if you want, but it's about not letting yourself wallow in the pity party and moving on from it, letting it make you a better person. And I absolutely think that everything that Evie Snow went through, she just came out of it a better person every single time because she let it. The romance is so desperate yet respectful, because if you've ever been in deep love before, then you know how desperate and aching and wonderful yet painful that can feel, and it can turn us into monsters if we let it, because it can make us really selfish and it can make us very bitter when things don't go our way or when we lose that thing that we love or that person that we love so much. We can also be respectful toward it too. We can also respect the relationship for what it is and respect the people you're in the relationship with. I also saw so much respect out of Jim, who was my favorite character in this entire book. I would recommend this book to anybody who loves a good romance novel, because I think that in every sense of the word, this book is romantic. I have to absolutely just praise and get so excited over the fact that there are LGBTQI plus characters in this book, and I loved Carrie's explanation for it's 2016, why wouldn't there be LGBTQI plus characters in these in novels, in literature, and I totally absolutely agree. I mean, I think that I'm just extra excited because there is a pansexual character in this book, and my sexuality doesn't get a whole lot of representation in books. I mean, I actually don't seek out to read LGBTQI plus literature like a lot of people do. I just kind of come upon it if it sounds like a good story. I don't seek out my books because of their genre. I seek them out because of the synopsis and the story or recommendation. Maybe if I read more LGBTQI plus books, I would see more pansexual characters, but it's nice that this didn't fall necessarily under an LGBTQI plus genre book, but still had that representation in it. Absolutely love that aspect, and I can't thank Carrie enough for putting it in there. Even if the character wasn't pansexual, I still really, really appreciated not only was a representation, but one of the main characters is actually LGBTQI plus. So again, I absolutely recommend this book to people who read LGBTQI plus books, who like to read about strong women lead characters, who like to read about romance, all of those categories. Absolutely wonderful. I just think this book has so much love to give. I came out of it feeling a little bit more loved for sure, and I felt like I understood my heart a little bit better when I finished this book. As far as book accessories, as for sound, I'm going to recycle a song that I used in my last book review for A Court of Mist and Fury, because I think it is quite possibly the most romantic song I've ever heard in my life. Thank you to my friend Ariel for showing it to me, because I honestly think I want to get married to this song. This song is primarily bagpipe, but it also has a strings section to the song. So I still haven't looked up how to say the name, so I'm just gonna try again. It's probably not gonna be correct. I've been butchering pretty much every name that I've tried to say on this channel, so I'm just being nothing different. Please feel free to correct me on how to pronounce this. I really need it. So the song is, I think, pronounced Ulaid, U-L-A-I-D, by, I want to say Posthumous. That sounds right to me, from their album Unearthed, and it's just the single most romantic song I've ever heard in my entire life. With the romance in this story, especially how the love is very inspired by music, that song is really good. Also because this book has a heavy focus on the violin, I was seeking out albums slash playlists on Spotify specifically, and I found this really awesome album by various artists of just violin classics or violin covers, and I don't know that I'm gonna say this correctly, but Spiegel im Spiegel, the 1978 recording, I think is just absolutely gorgeous. I've had it on repeat for the entire last scene of the book because I had to feel, and music helps me feel, and I absolutely cried at the end of the book. So that was my really quick spoiler-free review of On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher, and if you want to discuss the book with me, I have posted another video, which I will link right here, where I talk about a spoiler discussion. So if you do read this book, or if you have read this book, go ahead and give that a watch and then talk to me about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching my book review. I will definitely see you guys later. Bye!